think realistically it's probably going to be General Flynn.
Yes, General Mike Flynn, yes.
Yeah. I think that Trump is going to really want someone who has recent military experience in that position if he intends to prioritize fighting against ISIS in his administration.
Well, we're talking about, of course, he's a lieutenant. He was a retired lieutenant general, served as director of the DIA, commander of, many different, different commands, including the Joint Functional Component Command for Intelligence, Surveillance, and Reconnaissance. Boy, is that a mouthful. And chair of the Military Intelligence Board, very recently, 2012 to 2014. Great pick. I, on the other hand, have a couple of different ideas. I'm going to throw 3 names out to you. Name number 1, Senator Tom Cotton. I think would be a great pick. Has that military and political experience. The second name, if you want to talk about balance and you want to show Democrats how you want to keep them in the fold, why not Jim Webb? Senator Jim Webb.
Interesting.
He wasn't he in the Department of Navy as well as being a U.S. Senator? I think that's a name you should throw out there. And finally, because I love him to death and he has racked up so many appearances on the show, I say Van Hipp, former Assistant Secretary of the Navy and of the Army, has his own civil defense firm in D.C., tremendous advisor. If he doesn't get the top job, he should definitely be one of the assistant secretaries in the Department of Defense somewhere. Those are my 3. What do you think about those 3? Let's start with Cotton first.
Safe pick.
So you think it's too safe?
Safe pick, logical pick. I think the Jim Webb pick is very interesting.
I think it would be a great pick.
I'm wondering how Trump's base would take that pick, but I definitely think it's an interesting Mavericky pick.
Maverick. There you go. You see, you're embracing your inner Palin. This is good. Okay. What do you want to do next?
Of course,
go ahead.
I love Van Hipp.
Yeah, Van Hipp is such a good friend of the show. I remember last year at CPAC, just sitting and talking policy with him for an hour. It was like sitting in on an advanced graduate level class of governance.
Graduate level class, Gene. It was like having an intelligence briefing. It was amazing. I came out of that conversation feeling smarter for having been in proximity to this man.
Absolutely right. He's a treasure trove of knowledge, and we're happy to have him with the show.
Gene, I'm going to throw out one dark horse pick for you. That's along the lines of the Jim Webb pick. Under Secretary of the Army, Patrick Murphy.
Another great idea, thinking outside the box. Someone who has that experience. I absolutely agree.
I think from a PR perspective, he had been a net positive while he was in his acting secretary capacity. It would be a great olive branch to the Democrats, but on Trump's terms, because it's something they have common ground on.
Absolutely. All right, so what do you want to do next? You want to do Homeland Security or Attorney General? Because we're running a little bit low on time. We got to do final thoughts and stuff. Which one do you want to do? Homeland Security or Attorney General next? Homeland. Okay. I think that the leading name on this one, I mean, listen, you can think Rudy, you can think Chris Christie, they'll be, tops on a bunch of different lists. But to me, Jeff Sessions is your guy. I think that Sessions, he helped with his views on immigration. He should be up for this position. I'm sure he's probably up for Defense Secretary as well. But I gotta think that Jeff Sessions fits Homeland Security like a glove.
I mean, also fair. I'm also of the school of thought that Rudy would be a good pick. If I had to do a non-obvious one like Rudy, I would actually say Representative McCall, who is the current chairman of the House Homeland Security Committee.
Out of Texas, that's right.
Yes. And of course, I would be remiss if I did not throw out the name of the great Congressman Peter King from New York's 2nd Congressional District, former chairman of the House Homeland Security Committee.
Who has no relationship with Trump whatsoever, and I don't like him, so no.
Well, you forget, I used to work for him.
I know.
I actually firmly believe there is not one bigger hawk when it comes to Homeland Security than Peter King. And I think if Trump is the businessman that he says he is, he would recognize that someone like Peter King, while he might have some degree of animosity towards him, might also recognize that this might be the person who could do the job the best.
What about bringing back someone like a Tom Ridge or a Michael Chertoff?
That would be interesting, but the question would be, would they be interested in leaving their private sector gigs now? Trump would have to do something to make it savory for them.
Okay. How about a dark horse pick then? Alan West.
It's not crazy, but I think the question would be, where are Alan West's ambitions right now? Does he want to run for office again, or is he really... would he be happy in a wonky position?
Well, again, these are the decisions that are being made. Finally, Attorney General. There are two names that I think of. One that I think it may be, and one that I think it must be. Okay?
Okay.
And the maybe name that's been thrown around, of course, is Chris Christie. I don't like it because he's embroiled in scandal right now with the convictions that happened in Bridgegate, and it might bring some tarnish to a new administration. But if I am in the room with Donald Trump and Mike Pence and Rudy Giuliani and everybody else on the transition team, there is only one name that can come up for me for Attorney General, and his name is Preet Bharara. That is the man who should... First of all, it throws a bone to the Democrats again. The man has shown, especially in his job as a U.S. attorney in the Southern District of New York, that he can do the job against Republicans and Democrats alike, even-handed in the administration of justice. I think if the man is willing to take the job, I jump on it. Preet, please do it.
You know what, Gene? I'm not even going to throw out an alternative pick because that's so inspired. Please, President Trump, pick Preet Bharara. Please.
There you go. I think that would be the best pick possible. Do you see how many different politicians... We have a corruption clock on our website at www.behindamylionsradio.us because of Preet Bharara. Because he's put so many politicians in jail.
I mean, do you realize it's been 9 days since our last conviction?
Conviction, arrest, whatever it is. I think it was arrest. Yes, it was an arrest, the last one. But we reset the clock every time there's an arrest, indictment, a conviction, every time at our website. So check it out. We put up stories all the time about it. But yes, Preet Bharara should be Attorney General. I don't care about party. I care about governing. And I think Donald Trump has seen him up close, and I think it would work.
And not only that, Gene, Preet is a Democrat. And I want to pose...
He's a Chuck Schumer Democrat. That's the thing. He was trained with Chuck Schumer.
No, but Gene, I want to pose a question to our listeners. What does it say that two Republicans on two different ends of the political spectrum of conservatism both agree that this man would be perfect for the job? A Democrat. That's how good this guy is at doing his job and being fair and objective. This would be the dream pick.
All right. And finally, do you have... Okay, let's go through our bonus one now. Do you have anybody for bonus? Pick an office and tell me who you want there.
Gene, I'm not even going to pick an office. Just any way that we can have General James Mattis, Mad Dog Mattis, anywhere in this administration, and I will be a happy girl.
All right. Here's my bonus, and let's go through it. Ready?
Okay.
Secretary of the Interior, Sarah Palin.
Oh, no.
Yes, and here's why. What does the Secretary of the Interior deal with primarily?
Energy and natural resources.
And national parks. Who else would know better about our national parks, our natural resources, our land management better than Sarah Palin? It will diffuse a lot of the issues in the western part of the country with what was the guy's name? The Bundy Ranch people, dealing with them. I think Sarah Palin would be fantastic with national parks and public lands. perfect position for her. It keeps her in the administration. It keeps her out of the spotlight. And that's kind of the end of it right there. It's a perfect spot for her.
Gene, I ate a lot of crow this episode, but I do have my limits.
And that being said, it's time for some final thoughts. Boy, that hour went quickly. Thanks for everybody for listening. Amanda Kohut, tell everybody how they can get in touch with you on social media to hear more of your wonderful musings and discussions of politics and other topics as well. Mets, everything.
Guys,
I mean, let's go Mets.
Guys, if you want to read about Mets baseball, politics, General James Mattis, and may he rest in peace, my love, Bartolo Colon, you can find me on the Twitters at Amanda, Kohut, Kohut.
All right, final thought time, go.
All right, this one's to my fellow rhinos out there and to also the liberals. Speaking directly to you right now. We have learned a lesson this election. Us establishment types were disconnected from the mainstream of America. And I recognize that on election night. And Gene and Russ and the whole gang were around me, and they could tell you that I was contrite and humble because I understood what these elections mean, and I saw it as a fault on my interpretation of America and not of the voters. But I still see people out there that are still in denial, that are still lobbing all these insults at Trump's voters and trying to legitimize their vote and the Trump presidency. Don't do that. Keep your ears open. Listen to what people have to say. Just listen. Now is the time to rectify your mistakes.
All right. A very humble Amanda Kohut. I appreciate the introspection and the honest evaluation that you've been doing these past couple of weeks. It's very nice to see it, and that's why we love you on the show, because unlike the mainstream media and everybody else, you can admit that I need to take a step back and reevaluate, and that's very cool of you to do. Thank you for coming on the show. I really appreciate it. My final thought tonight, folks, I'm going to bring this one home a little bit. I was listening to another radio show that starts with an L and ends with Aura Ingram. And on that show was a professor from my college, from Manhattan College, that I'm an alumni of, that Rudy Giuliani is an alumni of. And the discussion is whether professors at my college are being too liberal to students, that there are reports that students who are conservative want to transfer because they do not feel safe in exchanging their views. This deeply disturbs me, and I hope it's not true. And I can tell you from my Manhattan experience that the government professors there were more than happy to allow students to find themselves and their political voice. I had a professor that was as liberal as you can get, Dr. Winsome Downey. I love her to death. Absolute liberal. Made it her mission to try to turn me into a liberal. Couldn't do it. She respected my growth as a student, as a person. And look where I am now on a show like this. You can be liberal and a professor as long as you respect the education process. And if there are professors at my school that are not doing it, well, then I'm just going to have to call my alumni office and have to say something about that. All right, folks, that's it for the show. Amanda, you ready to shut this sucker down?
Shut this mofo down, Gene.
All right, thanks so much for listening to the show. Next week, we'll see if we can get Gallo back, and be on the lookout, folks. Buffoon of the Year coming up soon. But until then, from the People's Republic of New York City, we are out of here. Good night, folks. Our position's been compromised. It's time to roll out. Report for debriefing at www.behindenemylinesradio.us and look for regular communications via Facebook and Twitter at BEL_radio. You are the resistance. Behind Enemy Lines. A rock radio production. Copyright 2016. Back in 7 days. Out.